has Blake sneaking away for extra time, giving him a first row ticket to the final two. Hey guys, and welcome back to another Shared News from Home. We've got all the details you need to know on Katie and Blake on The Bachelorette. But before we get into it, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you never miss out on any of our Bachelor updates. As always, I'm your host, Zachary Reality, and I am joined today by the lovely Fiona Zaring. And Fiona, it is safe to say that Blake and Katie's connection is getting stronger and stronger every single week. And last night on The Bachelorette, Blake snuck away to Katie's place to steal some extra time after hearing she had a really hard night. Katie unfortunately sent home Connor the cat after a one-on-one date, and this is where Blake took an opportunity to get some extra time. Fiona, do we think that this was a smart move by Blake to go in there when we knew she was having a tough time after breaking up with Connor, or was this a little strategic?
You know, I have been thinking about this a lot because on the one hand, I am so charmed by this boombox moment here. I thought it was so sweet. It clearly cheered her up, brought such a huge smile to her face. But I do think it was a little strategic. I mean, he even sat down with her on the couch and said himself, like, I was thinking about you here, sad and upset, and, I wanted to prove to you, that I'm going to be there, or however he put it, right? But there was definitely this is an opportunity for me to show her how I will continue to show up for her if she chooses me at the end of this. And at the end of the day, as much as this is about, relationships and connections and finding love, it is a bit of a competition, right? So whether there was a little strategy involved, I think it came from a good place. I think it came from a smart place. And I certainly think it worked for him in the long run.
Oh, absolutely. And he did tell Katie that they got to see Connor the cat and they got to have the goodbye with Connor. So obviously Blake knew that Katie was upset. So of course he wanted to see her. But I feel like all the guys would want to go see Katie and console her. But Blake was the lucky one. So it makes me wonder, was production involved, or did Blake just kind of make the effort? I feel like because he has been on the show before, he's a little bit more ballsy and bold, and maybe he's not afraid to make those moves, like going to sneak over to her room for that extra time. But either way, it worked out for Blake because Katie was very joyful to see Blake, and they shared a very intimate, passionate kiss. And this is where things got interesting because they were clearly hanging out and kissing for a while. But if you notice, the scene ended around dawn. It ended when they were waking up, and there was a shot of sprinklers turning on. And I feel like sprinklers only turn on in the morning, Fiona. It makes me wonder, do we think Blake spent the night with Katie? Is that even possible, that there was a fantasy suite in a way before the actual fantasy suite date?
So here we have this shot that we did see from the promo that if you look very closely, they definitely appear to be wearing the same clothes as they were, right, during the makeout that we did see. I don't know if I think that Blake spent the night in teeth were brushed, he got in bed, they called it quits, they very intentionally spent the night together. Or if, we know this Bachelor production happens at all hours of the night. So I do think it is possible that things just run on a pretty late timetable. And maybe by the time, he got to her room, they hung out, they talked, they made out, they had their little makeout adventure around the hotel. Maybe it's just that by the time things wrapped up, he was heading back and it was morning, right? Because we did see that sprinkler shot, and I do think that that certainly signals that at the very least, they spent quite a few hours together. I don't think this was a quick pop in, say hello, 15 minutes later, he was sent back to his room. I guess that's possible, but I do definitely think that he spent a significant portion of the night with Katie, if that makes sense. What do you think, Zach?
It does make a lot of sense. And I like how you said their makeout adventure or their hotel adventure. They were making out in the hallway, on the balcony, possibly outside, definitely in Katie's hotel room. We did get a kind of that shot that you mentioned of them making out in her room. It's kind of blurry, it's kind of dark, but it's clearly Blake. And Katie cannot keep her hands off of Blake. She has such a strong connection with him. And I feel like at this point in the game, they are spending so much more time together where Blake has totally caught up. Do we think at this point it's inevitable, especially with all of these shots and these makeup sessions, that he's going to go to the top two?
I certainly think so. I would very confidently like bet money on top four, like without a doubt. And I think that unless we see something in the coming weeks that really puts him in a bad spot, unless he has a big slip up, I could say final two pretty confidently as well. I mean, I think that there's no question that they had that instant chemistry, that instant spark. And we saw other good guys. I mean, let's talk about Connor the Cat for a second. They had great chemistry, really fun banter, great friendship established, but that spark wasn't there for Katie and she had to send him home and it really affected her. So I think we can kind of put all the pieces together and see that spark and physical chemistry, right? That means a lot in a relationship to Katie, and they have that in a way that I don't know that we've seen with any of the other guys. So I feel like between these strategic choices Blake is making, you said it before, he's been on the show before, he knows the game. He knows if you can get producers to maybe give you that extra time if you're bold and you just say, I'm not taking no for an answer, I'm grabbing my boombox and I'll be at Katie's. You can either come film it or not. You know what I mean? So I think he's a little smarter because he's been through the process before, and I think he feels that their connection is something he's really gonna fight for. So I don't know. I feel like top four is inevitable. Top two seems like a pretty safe bet too. And I mean, Zachary, let's face it, they have kind of already told us that we're going to be seeing him in the top four because we have seen footage in that midseason promo of Blake sitting down and having a conversation with his sister, and something that can really only point to the fact that he is going to have a hometown date with Katie. So I definitely think that it's sort of, the worst kept secret of the season, right? That Blake is going to go far. At this point, we know he's going to make it to hometowns. We know Katie is totally smitten with him. The question is, can he just keep it up and make it all the way to the end? I mean, we obviously won't know until we know.
I mean, it's clear that they have that connection. They have that spark. They cannot keep their hands off of each other, but I'm really interested to see more of their emotional bond and if they truly have that like friendship and that solid foundation. I feel like they've been so hot and heavy because Katie has all this, bant up energy with Blake because they kind of were DMing before the show. So I'm interested to see how the relationship plays out for the rest of the season. Blake is definitely going to be here for a long time. He did not come in just to come in. He came here to really make things work with Katie. So I'm looking forward to seeing what transpires, especially on the hometown dates, because that's when things get super, super real. But there are a lot of Bachelor fans that are still skeptical because he did come from another season. Do you think it would upset you, Fiona, as a Bachelor fan, to have Blake be the winner as somebody who came from another season? Like, he didn't start on this season. Does that possibly like jade the Bachelor couple if they end up together at the end?
Personally, it doesn't really bother me because I feel like the whole point, right, is for Katie to find her person. So if at the end of the season, he's the one that feels like her person, then like I just want her to have the best shot, right? So personally, it wouldn't upset me, but I do see how some fans out there could maybe feel like, okay, well, we signed on to watch Katie's contestants, from the start, find their journey. We were thrown a curveball, like, why didn't, you just cast Blake from the get-go? Like, was this a producer play? I totally get that there's always going to be those narratives. But at the end of the day, I do think Katie has enough free will, right, to see if he's the right fit for her. And I just don't feel like she's done anything to make me question her choices. Like, I trust Katie. I feel like Katie is in control. I think she's making smart decisions. I think even though it was heartbreaking to watch her send, someone like Connor home, I understood it. So as a Bachelorette, she seems to really have a good head on her shoulders. And like I said, if Blake ends up being the one, then I'm just all for whatever Katie thinks is going to be the best chance for her future. I mean, I don't know. It's a tricky situation here when producers throw curveballs like this because you don't know how the audience is going to react. You don't know how the lead's going to react. You certainly don't know how the house is going to react, although you can guess it's going to be negative. So Blake has navigated all of that, I think, pretty well so far, whether it be with the house, with fans, with people watching. So I don't know. It will be interesting, though, to see how people would react.
And Blake did tell the guys when he got there, if he could have showed up on night one, he would have. And I also feel like if Blake really just wanted to go on the show, he would have just went to Bachelor in Paradise. I'm sure he could have got a one-way ticket there and it would have been fine. I think he really did come on for Katie. And it's really awesome that Blake has also navigated this so well because he hasn't become the villain. I mean, we had
Mhm.
Thomas, we had Carl, we had Hunter. I mean, none of the guys are really giving Blake that hard of a time, maybe when he first showed up, but he seems to kind of adapt really quickly with the group and obviously with Katie.
Yeah, Zach, that's a really great point. And I mean, if you think about it, we did just see in Matt's season someone try to come into the house late. We saw it with Heather, and it did not go well. I think for many, many reasons. But Blake has really proven, maybe it's his sort of chill attitude. Maybe it's the fact that he doesn't take himself too seriously. But he's proven that there is a world in which you can come in and win the house over, win the lead over, and actually have a fighting chance. I mean, I think the big question with fans was, oh, well, he's already been through 2 bachelorettes. Like, could he possibly be there for the right reasons, right? But I think when you really take a second, first of all, the 2 bachelorettes thing wasn't his choice, right? At the end of the day. And
Mhm.
this house in particular, literally from episode 1, if they got a whiff of you not being there for the right reasons, you were public enemy number 1. They all were sacrificing their time to sit down with Katie and tell her that you had to go. And we just haven't seen that with Blake. So I really do think that at the end of the day, he's kind of like this unicorn, right? He's figured it out. He's found his footing. He is not a Heather 2.0. And I agree with you. I think we might see him stick around until the very end.
He's definitely going up on the rankings, so I would not be surprised if Blake ended up winning this season, to be completely honest with you guys, but obviously we are spoiler free, so this is all speculation as we are dissecting these promos, and that is everything we have to share with you guys today. So let us know what you think in the comments below. Do you think that Blake is going to win Katie's heart, or will there be something dramatic at the end? Could it be Team Greg? What are you guys thinking? And before you go, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell because we will be back with more Bachelorette updates and news. As always, I'm your host, Zachary Reality, and I was joined today by Fiona Zaring. Our social media handles are on the screen right now, so be sure to give us a follow and say hello. That is all we have for you guys today, so thank you for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye!